Hey, hope you guys are doing well. I know it's been ages since my last video. It just seems so hard to accommodate crafting and making videos with the existing chores. But I'm working on it and hopefully make some time to sit more often at my desk. For now, let's recycle some cans from our kitchen. Like you see here, I just measured this can to cut a perfect rectangular container. Just ensure the height is equal throughout. Now measure the length, breadth, and height of the container. Add half an inch to this measurement, like whatever length you have plus half inch and so on. It's okay to have some extra centimeters, but if you have less, then it will be hard to fit it inside a box. Now let's measure it on a thick piece of cardboard. So here we are making a box for our containers. So here I've got 5 sides to our box. One of the side is open so we can operate our drawer. The measurements will differ depending upon the type of can you're using. Always check the placement before you glue things down. Remember, we need a box that is comfortable enough to pull the container out smoothly. And if it doesn't fit well, then try again. I made two different layouts for a couple of drawers as I fell short of one can. You'll know what I'm talking about when we get there. So once you're sure, then use your glue gun and get done. I understand this video is a bit longer and that it will take a lot of your valuable time. I'm really sorry about this. I tried to fast forward wherever it was possible, but there's a lot of process involved to make this organizer, and I thought some of you might want to learn how to go about it. Alrighty, so this is one way out like the usual drawers because I just couldn't wait for another empty can for this project. And this is the other, the narrow way out. Looking back, I think it would have been nice if I had waited so to make all drawers look like this one. Cause it almost took me about 8 months to complete this project. Okay, here I'm covering the places where the cardboard meets. So basically you take any craft glue and add a little water, mix it well, or just use Mod Podge. Stick pieces of any paper with the help of Mod Podge to seal the joints. So here I have 8 boxes for the 8 drawers. Place to see how you can go about and then glue it for good. Some of you are probably thinking why the heck it took me 8 months to finish this, right? Well, I started this project in March somewhere, but then our babysitter had to go away, and there was no way I could accommodate crafting time. I did some part of it in August, September, as in when I got time, but it wasn't just working for me. Okay, coming back to our boxes, I am measuring this cardboard as a base for our entire structure. So you mark the length, but the depth measure it as per the narrow opening boxes. Because once we stack up all those boxes, there will be a vacuum on the lowest level and the structure will not stand strong. So we'll be filling that gap later. I'm adding cardboard on all sides to give a clean finishing. You won't believe how much trash I have collected on top of my cupboard to recycle it someday. Now all I need is a lot of time to work on it. So that's how it's supposed to look. That's the vacuum that I was talking about. And here are so many cardboard pieces that I will be using to fill that gap. Firstly, let's glue the vertical structures to the lower boxes. If you ever try making something like this and there's gap between the vertical structures, then just add extra cardboard sheet in between or on either sides of those things. Now that the boxes have come together, we shall get the back sorted. For these stripes, all I did was I measured the length and breadth of that space and cut several pieces of cardboard till I could cover that space. And the last of it all fits perfectly. Bingo! I hope you are able to follow this video. If you have any queries or questions, then do drop me a message in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them all. I'm also adding cardboard towards either sides. Time to work on the roof. Just note I am using a 2-ply cardboard for this entire project. Measure and cut a square out of a cardboard. We need to cut a triangle out of it. A lot of my time was taken to make this roof. Tried my best to make it look as realistic as possible. So here are the 3 triangles for the front side. As for the back, I wanted to cut an entire piece along with the triangles, but couldn't find a bigger sheet in my stash. So I have to now cut and stick that separately onto it. However, if you have a large sheet of cardboard, then by all means just measure the entire back and add the triangle length to it and get the whole damn piece out. As for me, I'll pretend playing a jigsaw puzzle. Can't tell you how many times I ran out on these glue sticks. This is another reason why I'm sometimes late to get things done. Add extra glue to the triangles from the inside, just to ensure it stands straight and stays strong. Like you see, I'm measuring the length and the height of the roof. To this measurement, I've added a little less than half an inch to the front side of all the roofs and a quarter of an inch to the height of all except the innermost of the left and right structures. I hope that makes sense. Stick both sides with a masking tape. Not that it will fall apart, but just for a little neatness. Now that our basic structures come together, I'll tape all the joints so it looks much neater. I strongly recommend you use a brown paper, like those brown paper bags, as it stays neat and doesn't wear out in the long run. However, I didn't have enough at hand, so I used a newspaper on the front side. Much better, no? To make the tiles for the roof, Measure along the roof that you have already made and cut a corrugated cardboard. I have a 2-ply cardboard here, just like I mentioned before. Separate the 2 plies and pull out the plain sheet from the wavy part or the corrugated part. It generally comes out easily. However, if you are unable, then just use a pair of tweezers or some thin pointy object to go about it. Make sure you have a clean sheet at the end of it. Now cut stripes along the hollow line and cut as many as you can. You will need a lot of it to make a realistic looking roof. And now cut those stripes furthermore. Cut it to a little less than an inch. There's a lot more I had to cut out. Here's my trick. If you need a clean sheet of that corrugated part to work with the tiles, then just work with small sheet of cardboard at a time and then open it up so it tears out nicely. Now this is the glossy outer side of the cardboard which will stick against the roof. Start sticking the tiles with any craft glue. Do not use a glue gun. We want it to dry slowly. We can lift the tiles upwards as we move to the next row and adjust accordingly. It does take some time to work around this. But believe me, once it's done, you'll probably get a call from people to design their rooftops. Just joking. But you will definitely love the outcome. So I'm sticking from down and then moving upwards. As you stick the tiles, press it down nicely. That's how you go about with the rest of it. Ensure after each row you press the top end down and lightly lift the other end up. Each row will overlap the previous row, like you see here. You see how it's all coming together? The hardest part is all done. Now just glue it all on top. To cover the center line, take a long strip out from the corrugated sheet, measure and attach it to the center. Secure the edges neatly. Just don't put any pressure on the centermost part. Looks like there's still more covering to be done. So for that, I have mixed some wall putty with little water to make a smooth paste. You can opt for air dry clay instead. Keep filling the gaps and smoothen it out. I thought it would make the whole structure look grand if maybe I could add some bricks to it. And since I had half of those cans left, might as well make good use of the remaining waste. So I snapped few rectangular pieces to build a brick wall. Remember to use a good pair of scissors. Blunt scissors will not work. Nope, These are very small pieces. So please use tweezers if you make something like this. You see what I mean? Since the bricks are plastic made, acrylic colors won't stay well on it. So I'll stick some tissue paper on top of it all, even though I'll be using gesso as a base coat. Also, the use of tissue paper will add texture to the wall. Secure the papers with the help of Mod Podge. Crinkle the paper as you keep gluing. Feels fabulous once it's thoroughly dried. So I tried making a circular window to the loft. Check to see which bottle cap could sit well in that space. I used air dry modeling clay here. Since I haven't used this clay in a while, it's turned really hard. It's so damn hard to roll out. I cut like a quarter of an inch strip and a thin strand for the center of the windows. Since the time I have started working on this project, we got a new desk made with additional storage units. So you'll most probably see a difference in the background. Okay, luckily I still have the bottle cap here, considering how fast things disappear from my desk. So I'm using this cap as a guide to form the window frame as well. Use little water at a time to shape and smooth out the clay. And of course, stick the ends neatly. So the thin strip that we made earlier, that's where it goes. And to secure the clay work, I dissolved a little modeling clay with few drops of water to make a smooth paste. Similarly, stick the window frame too. There you go. Smooth it out with a little water. Also, with the help of a thin brush, seal the outer corners too. Are any of you watching my videos for the first time? Then please do consider subscribing to my channel. It will definitely mean a lot to me. So once it's all dried, I'll gesso it down. 2 coats of gesso should be good. Cover it up completely and we are good to add colors. I also gave 2 coats of gesso to the containers. So to paint the roof, I mixed a dash of crimson red to the dark brown. As for the rest of the building, you can paint with any color of your choice. I have used Little Birdie's chalk paint and Fevicryl acrylic colors throughout. I will try to list the color names in the description box below or add it on the screen here. Editing videos is such a tedious and time consuming process. And it's even more difficult when the kids are constantly up to some mischief. Nevertheless, I'm glad I could complete this project and share it with you all. If you liked this tutorial so far, then please do smash that like button and do let me know in the comments what you think of this project. Well, so I have applied 2 coats of each paint, and what I'm doing right now is dry brushing the bricks with some white chalk paint. On the green wall, however, I used dark green to dry brush and later brushed it with white chalk paint. The white paint is actually called buttermilk. It is slightly creamish in color. So that's how our final building structure looks like. You see the texture that was created using tissue paper? And look who came to help me. My twins love hanging around my little craft corner, just like my son. Well, there's varnish that's required to seal the efforts. I applied 2 coats of little birdie gloss varnish to the roof, and the rest of it I sealed it with a kiss. I used matte lacquer by Annie Sloan. Now that our building structure is all ready, the drawers need some attention. I'm roughly drawing the windows and doors. I just find it too confusing to work without a guideline. So a little sketching helps. So that's how I want my doors and windows to look. They all pretend to be best at art with the hopes of being mommy's new assistant. But I ain't gonna hire any of these three. They are the perfect recipe for disaster. As for the drawers, there has to be some sort of handle. So I'm making 2 holes so to pass a cord through it. Use a pointy object to pierce holes through it. I'm using a macrame cord. I think it should be strong enough to pull the drawers out. Almost there. Tie a knot from inside and ensure the cord is not too tight against the drawer. Lastly, secure the ends with a glue gun, just so it doesn't come out like the handles and knobs in my house. These days, my kids have been busy breaking into every cabinets and doors. The other day, I paid a carpenter around 150 grand just to fix 2 locks and a bedroom door which was falling off the frame. I even got additional latches installed on the door as they have been fidgeting with the electric board. Well, enough of me blabbering. I got some clay here and I intend designing some doors and windows out of it. First, measure the size of the window and door. Mine is around an inch and a half. Score the frame and then cut it with a blade. I'm scoring the center of the frame, which needs to stay on the window. Once you cut it out, just smoothen it with your wet finger. Similarly, cut the door as well. If you guys want a detailed video to see how I made this door, then drop me a comment and I'll try to make one. This time I am using craft glue to attach the windows as my clay is sort of dry and I don't want it to fall off. Once you attach it, you can use a little water and smooth it out. You can give some texture on the door wherever it is necessary with the help of a knife or maybe a ruler. And finally, your knob on the door. So this color is called Lavender Blush and it's chalk acrylic paint by Little Birdie. Try and paint below the macram cord and try to lift the cord because once it dries out, the cord is going to stick to the container. This particular paint, I think it's mango, but I'm not quite sure because there's no sticker on the jar. And the green is called marsh green. I also thought of adding few elements to the drawers with doors. Since I'm making fine detailing, I have used MC epoxy clay instead of modeling clay. It's much easier to mold and form epoxy clay. So once you mix both compounds, all your fingers a little bit as it gets a little bit messy. Form desired shapes with the help of little water and stick it on the surface. And to smoothen it out further, use some talcum powder. I have already made detailed videos on how you can work with epoxy clay. I'll link it down below for you. Note this clay hardens very quickly, so if it refuses to stick with water, use some craft glue and you'll be fine. You notice I am not using any fancy tools. It's just a skewer and a palette knife. So don't stress about not having any modeling tools. Use what you have at hand, okay? I will fast forward and cut short the designing part. However, like I said, you let me know if you have any queries and I'll help you out. Finally, once you have painted and done, seal everything with a sealing agent. So I gave all the drawers 2 coats of matte lacquer by Annie Sloan. You can use the Decor varnish by Little Birdie as well. Make sure you apply on the base of the drawers without fail. So what I did in the end was I applied a coat of Decor gloss varnish to the window panes just to give a glass-like look. And that's about it. Here is the organizer, all made of recycled material like the cardboard and the cans from your kitchen. I so hope you give this organizer a try. And if you like my video, then do give me a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Please also subscribe to my channel and don't forget to turn on that little notification bell on your right. Thank you so much for your valuable time. And until the next video, you take care and stay safe.